Today I'm going to show you how to make a blessing blanket. Well, this is a blessing blanket to me. This is what it's for. It's a baby blanket, but I'm going to bless a baby with a blanket. I'm going to use it as a donation. But anyways, I thought maybe it would be a good time how to show you how easy it is to make a baby blanket. This blanket right here is 1.25 yards. So I've taken 2 of the fabrics that I picked out. Each of them are 1.25 yards, and I've placed right sides together. Go ahead and finish doing that. Finish our right sides together. Make sure you get all the edges all worked together pretty evenly. I'm a little bit long on one side, but I will trim it off. So ahead of time, I ironed this out to make it a little bit less wrinkly. So if you want to do that, you can. So, sorry, this is the biggest table I have, so that's what I'm working on. Okay, so I got that pretty much together. I have here it's a crib size quilt batting that I'm gonna put on here. It will probably be a little bit too big, but like I said, I'm gonna fix that. So we got our materials right size together. It's 1.25 yards. Sometimes when I make blankets, I don't make them this big, but this gives the baby a little bit more growing room. This is probably a good crib size, but again, I'll probably cut some of this off. I made one yesterday. It's a boy one. It looks like I got some more wrinkles in there. We're just going to put this even with the rest of this material. Get some wrinkles out of there. Even all the edges even. Okay, looks like we got pretty much even around the edges. So now, flatten that out, make sure it's good and wrinkles are all out of it. So now, I'm not sure if you guys can see let's see, I'll move this stuff. So if you get a crib size one and you do the 1.25 yards, depending on how wide your material is, you may be trimming some off somewhere. So here, still trying to make sure my material is still good and even. I'm going to go and trim off this excess right here. making sure you're not cutting the fabric underneath there. Arm's not quite long enough, but we'll get there. Okay, we're even on that side. Fix this again. Okay, so it looks like I have a little excess right here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Now, I am by no means a professional. I did take some sewing classes in school, but pretty much self-taught. So there may be tricks and tips that you might know that I don't. But this is what works for me. Okay, so we got all our edges pretty much all squared up. So now what I'm going to do, I got these little clips. You can't see them probably, but usually I use straight pins and I'll pin my sides. But these little things, I'm making that bigger quilt. And so they've come in real handy, and so that's what I'm going to use on this one to pin everything together. So I'm going to just start taking these little clips and placing them on there. They work pretty nice to keep everything together. So I have all three materials together right here. And I am just going to go around all the sides and do that. It doesn't take long at all to do this little quilt. You could hand sew all the edges if you wanted to, if you didn't have a sewing machine. I just happen to be lucky enough to have one or two. See how easy it is? Keep all these materials together. So we're already down two corners here, or two sides. One of these sides on, I'll keep a little pocket open, and that's what you'll have to do because we're going to turn this right side out. So that we can finish doing the rest of it, and of course it's so that it looks the way it's supposed to be. Almost done. See how quick that goes versus just going around and pinning it? mm. Oops, we took a walk out today. It was beautiful. We was hoping to go find some more spots in the creek. So, but we didn't. So I'm going to leave, well, from here to the corner open. And I'm going to leave that open so that when we get done, we'll be able to put our hands in there and pull the corner out and do this right. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and go sew all the edges together. I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I went over there and I got that all sewn up. I have a little bit of bulk on the edges. I'm going to go ahead and trim off those. And I like to trim the corners. Sometimes when you're moving this, and I always put the fabric side down on the machine, but I still have a problem with the teeth on my machine catching on this, so sometimes you gotta be careful and always making sure you're keeping these materials with this material. It can be a little bit tricky, but it's pretty easy to do for a beginner. Like I said, if you want to hand sew it, it's really easy. Just takes a little bit longer, but it's very doable. Just cutting the remainder of the bulk off here. I like to take it off so that it's not bulking up the seams. So when we flip this inside out, you tell I'm not a straight sewer, but when we flip this inside out, it's not going to mess us up. Here's my open in right here, but I'm going to trim this corner right here like a little dog ear there. I'll do that with the rest of these. Corners. I'm going to take the bulk off this one here. Don't think well, maybe I did. Just don't look like it. Let's see. Oh, there's some more on this one. I'm going to take the bulk off that. I was trying to cut a 1/4 inch seam all the way around, but it's really hard to see everything when this cotton battens there. So just take your time, go around and it's probably easier to do when you're hand sewing. Okay, let's get these corners. Got that one. So I got these little corners right here, and I like to dog ear them. Which dog ear means just cutting on a diagonal across your corner. Okay, so now we're ready to flip this thing inside out. So we're going to take, you got your quilt batting and one of your sides, and and we're going to go inside there and pull out one of these corners. I like to go all the way in there. You're just going to turn that right side out. I was on the sewing machine for literally probably 20 minutes only because my bobbin ran out and I had to redo it. But it does not take long to do these on the sewing machine at all. So now we're just going to get in here and get all these corners out. Stick your hand up in there and go on the inside of there and poke out your corners. And this is called a self-binding blanket. Means you don't have to sew any edges. You've binded the edges together. So I'm going to go ahead and poke my corners out right there. Go ahead and find the other ones. Okay, the other one's down here because that's where I didn't. So, okay, so we've got that all together. See how easy that was? So now to finish this, I'm not going to quilt anything on the top. I'm going to tie it with some cotton yarn. That's my preferred way. Well, I should actually show you how to finish the edges. I just go through and make sure all the wrinkles are out. Okay, so right here on this edge right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in these edges right here. You can do this hand sewing, or you can take it over to your machine and just stitch, making sure you got both sides of these turned inward, none of the batting sticking out, and you got your corner in here good and snug, nothing sticking out there. So then you'll just take it over to your machine and stitch it that way. Or like I said, you can hand stitch it and turn it in that way. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go over and sew these edges right here. Okay, so here I am. I've sewn my two edges together. You can see there's a bit of a seam on the outside. If you don't prefer that seam and you want it to look uniform, then probably just sew inside. I'm going to cut my strings here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie all three fabrics together. Here I go, spreading this out again. But I like to do that because since it's not tied and it's not together, then you get, when you move it around, you get those wrinkles in there. Got a little bit of bulk right here. Not too bad. So what I'm going to start doing, tying is another easy way to quilt to me anyways. Okay, so I have these tapestry needles. You might have seen, I don't know if you could see that or not. Sorry about that. You can see this little needle here. And I have some cotton yarn, which has got some string on it. Okay, so we're going to sorry, this is my preferred method of doing it, but anyways, so I can get the needle and thread in there. Some people probably do it differently, but this is just the way I do it. So on this particular fabric, I think I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has butterflies. Butterflies. And I really like the butterflies. I picked this fabric for a specific reason. I had a daughter that passed away, and butterflies are just her thing, and purple is her color is also. That's what she represents to me. So I decided that this would be a really good way to make a tribute to her. On the back of it, and it has these butterflies and purple flowers, and it says "You are loved." And so when I seen that, I immediately thought of her. So I thought, what better way than to give another baby a blessing, blanket blessing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start in the corner right here. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go up through all three. I usually like to do this because it's easier on my hand to do it. I push on all of the fabrics and I pull the needle out. Sometimes you have to make sure you're not knotted up in the back here with your fabric. But I pull that out. I take the needle out. Now I have some people, I have seen, I don't take the needle out because I forgot to do the other side. I'll do the next one right. That one didn't work very well. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm just going to pull it all the way out. We'll try that again. Sorry. Okay, so I got this one in here. We got this in here. And then we're going to go through this. I took about 1/4 of an inch and then I'm going to go through it again on the other side. Then we'll end up tying right here. So pull your string all the way through those two sections. I will do a close-up shot of doing that. So I'm going to knot it 3 times to get this going. And then I like to trim the tails. So I'll do a couple more of those and then I'll come back. Like I said, I really like this. I'll just come back after I get everything done, but I'm going to see if I can show you a better way. And I usually probably go about every 4 inches across to tie that into each other. And I do that the whole quilt. And I would say a quilt this size tying would probably take me an hour. So doing this quilt this size for a baby will probably take you an hour and a half all together. I mean, if you really want to include going to the store and picking out the materials, then ironing it maybe 2 hours. And if you have to stop in like I do and tend to other things, then it may take you a little bit longer. But it really doesn't take a long time at all to do one of these quilts. So I'll come back as soon as I got this tied and I'll show you what it looks like. The knots are going to be on the reverse side, but that's okay because I really like these butterflies and the purple flowers. Okay, we'll see you back here in a little bit after I get finished tying. Okay, so this is the last probably 4 or 5 that I got. As you can tell, it's a different day. I did not get it finished last night. Life just got in the way and I got super tired and kind of emotional about doing this. This is kind of a tribute to my daughter that passed away. So kind of made me a little emotional, so I just stopped doing it. But I've got the majority of it done today and I'm really liking how it come out, and I do hope the receivers feel like they've been blessed by doing this. I did forget to grab my scissors, so I'll have to grab those real quick before I can finish this. But oh, I guess I didn't forget. I heard them sitting right there. So I'm going to trim the tails off here. I hope you could see that, how I tie this. If you haven't done any quilting or anything like that, but you can see they're not very long. And I am using this cotton yarn. I like the way it's going with the fabric. I am looking on the back of my material because on the other side I want it to go through a certain way. See, so I'm putting it in through here about 1/4 of an inch and then pushing the needle back out through the another material. I always have to make sure my yarn's straight on there so that it doesn't get caught up, and it can be a little bit of a pain sometimes. So I pull that out through there enough, and then I take my needle off, pull it back down where I think I'm going to have enough to tie that 3 times. I got a little bit closer than I wanted to the last one. So again, I'm going to look on here and pick a spot within about 4 inches of the other one. Look under here where I'm putting my material. Okay, so I'm pushing down and then I'm going to push through here. Got me about 1/4 inch of material, and I'm going to slide it through right there. Hope you're having a good day. Just wanted to encourage people to be a blessing to somebody. I like to spread love and be encouraging. And I hope that with my channel I can share that with others. So I just found another space that was just enough away. I don't know if you could see what's on this material, but it does say, "You are loved." And I just like that. I love the colors of this. When my daughter passed away, we always thought of butterflies, and purple was her color. So when I seen this, I got pretty excited about it. But working on it's a whole nother story. Brings back several emotions. So this thread knot yarn can be a little tricky. So again, I'm just going over here and I'm looking under because I wanted a certain way under the fabric for the other side to look a certain way. Now I'll turn that side over in just a minute. We're poked through there. And if you need help or have questions about what I'm doing, just leave comments and I'll get back with you. Try to help you the best I can. Like I say, these blessing blankets don't take long at all. I did say that this one did take me a little bit longer than I thought. Maybe it's just because I was doing other things. My mind wasn't focused on doing it, but I would still say at most you might have 4 hours into one of these blankets. And really, it's not a lot of time at all to do one of these blankets. So I plan on trying to do 2 of these blessing blankets a month. And also I have people that I'm working on quilts for as well. So hopefully I can get those quilts done. I need queen size quilts. I was gonna try, my goal was to do 1 quilt a month, but we will see how that works out. Almost done here. Let me know in the comments if you've made quilts before, or if you've been given a quilt. If you do any sewing or crochet. So I think I'm about done with this. Here is what the other side looks like. Close up of that side of it. And I was going to show you the other one that I did. This is the boy one, in honor of my son that I lost. So, if you have any questions, or feel free to comment and I will try to help you as much as I can. But I'm just trying to pass some joy along, and I just thought of blessing a baby to be warm and cozy and come into this world and know that, you know, they're loved and cherished. So that was my idea around making these blessing blankets and to help honor my son and my daughter that passed away. So I do hope you enjoy, and hopefully you can try one of these blessing blankets. And if you do, please share with me what you do come up with, or maybe you've made one in the past and want to share that with me. That'd be awesome. But until then, I hope you have a fabulous day, and I hope many joys come your way. All right. Thank you for coming to the Big Woods.